Well, welcome everybody. It's great to see you today. And keeps business owners and CEOs up at night. Today, I think we're going to have a little bit of fun and you're going to gain a little insight and learn about a business that's kind of an interesting business because it's the backbone of our economy and maybe you don't hear a whole lot about it. And also hear about how Vistage has helped one of our Vistage members not only scale his business, but I think become a better leader and maybe a better person. But I'm going to leave that up to him. So first, let me introduce Ron Chelli. Ron, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Translogistics?
All right, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'm the CEO of Translogistics. We are a third-party multimodal logistics company. What that means is we do anything from LTL, truckload, intermodal, expedite, parcel. We even have the drop-down menu in our TMS, which is Transportation Management System, that you can add additional insurance if you have a load that's of high dollar value to ensure that if anything happens, you're going to be covered. So soup to nuts, probably 65% of our business is in the managed transportation field. And what that means is a company hires us to essentially be their second seat in their shipping department. We keep them informed, we give them metrics, we have quarterly or monthly business reviews, whatever they'd like. And we help them completely and utterly manage their transportation and transportation spend.
Great. Any specialties in terms of industries that you really dig deep into, or anything else cross
We
vertical
do a
in that
lot
way?
of medical. Um, our biggest customers in the medical field, construction. We do specialty like ovens for bakery, like high-end ovens, like industrial ovens and things like that. So, but anybody that wants to ship stuff, we're not going to be picky. If you have a lot of stuff to ship, or even a less than truckload quantity, or even if you're having issues with your parcel, we're there to help you.
Well, that's kind of cool. It's just kind of putting a face on those that truck that's like behind you that you see all over the highway. It does move things within the country.
It's
So
amazing how much I hated trucks till I got in the trucking business. Now I love them.
I don't blame you. That's cool. So you've been a Vistage member for quite some time. It even predates your time here at Translogistics. But so how has Vistage helped your businesses, if at all? I'll bait the question, right?
Well, I've been a member. I took a couple of years off, but since 2004, June of 2004. And if I said it didn't help me or my business, you'd say I was a complete and utter fool. So for me to stay on this long, it's more than just having buddies. I've told you this before, Dave. I find the tangible things incredibly important, but more than that, the intangible. I think of like the Phillies when a minor leaguer comes up and they're around Bryce Harper. He's a pro's pro, and in order for that person to stick in the major leagues, he has to at least ascribe to be that good. And to me, I found that when I started, I felt like the dumbest guy in the room, the least successful, and my goal was to be at least of equal or close to equal with the rest of the guys and ladies in the group. So it forced me to up my game in order to feel like I fit in and
Yeah.
can contribute.
Well, I can tell you as an observer to that, you certainly are, and you certainly have, and you're toe to toe. If you looked at any of your metrics in your business against industry kind of standards, I think you equate yourself extremely well. And so I know it always wasn't like that. So without going into specifics, you got a third party endorsement here, I should say.
Thank you.
Now, when you look at Vistage, any specifics on leadership things that you have kind of taken away from maybe some problems you brought to the group, or decisions, or opportunities, or challenges that have come up?
It's funny, when I was started as the president in my other company, I was a hot-headed young guy that was a successful sales guy and VP of sales, and and I couldn't understand why everybody was other than me was so stupid sometimes, And so I'd say, it would be like what, and I'd be mercurial beyond belief. And as I grew into my role, and I joined Vistage, our old Vistage chair Marty used to say, when you're a leader, the ultimate leader in particular of a company or in anything, when you go into a room, as you walk through the room, you leave awake. And I was always just, I'm Ron, like, but before then, I never realized what people were thinking when I walked through. And I gained a tremendous appreciation of the responsibility to be level headed, think in terms of what that person's going through in a particular day. They're not stupid. I'm not that smart. And I'm not the greatest sales guy that ever walked the face of the earth. So, in many ways, I've sustained that and gained even more appreciation for that throughout my Vistage career and my career in general. But, Vistage really promotes leadership and what it means to be a leader and underscores the importance of a good leader. So I take that really serious, particularly as I go into the back end of my career.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that, that lifelong transition from salesperson to manager to CEO and president. I mean, that's not an easy transition, and I'm sure there was a lot more there, but I recognize exactly what you're saying because I hear that from a lot of other people, and that's one of the great takeaways in terms of stuff that keeps you up at night and the
Yeah.
solutions they're complicated and they do take a bit of time. Anything on the personal side that what Vistage has added to your life?
Um, I hate to say this because the primary reason to join Vistage should never be to be to friendship. But friendship and bonding has been tremendous. I have, as I was talking to you before we went on air, I haven't seen a guy from this group before your time from years ago when I had first started in many, many years, except for at a party a couple of years ago and talked to him for a couple of minutes. We're going to dinner tonight, our spouses. You have that kind of bond, lifelong bond. Even though I haven't seen him, it's going to be fun. I'm not worried or nervous. I have tremendous friends that I would consider best friends. In my best friend group, and it's odd but cool. Like when we're friends, but when we're like in business, we're not afraid to tell each other that we're being stupid.
Yeah,
So there's still that relationship that always is a kind of a tug of war with Vistage. If you become too friendly, are you going to be truly honest with the people? And you have to thread that needle as the chair.
yeah. Well, there's a saying around Vistage that people join for business, but to stay for personal reasons, and that's the personal relationships you build. Hey, it's human nature, right? You get to know people, and there's a lot of commonality here. So that's great to hear.
Well,
Well,
when
we
I
only have so
left,
much. Go ahead.
I got to tell you this. When I left, and it was sort of forced on me to leave by my other owner. But when I left for the 3 or 4 years I was gone, I probably 2 or 3 times a year I dreamed I was back in Vistas. I really missed it. It was a
All right.
chunk of my life that was cut out that I really really missed. And the second when I took this position, the first thing I did was join Vistas.
That's that's cool. That's cool. Well, we only have so much time today, Ron. But suppose somebody wants to contact you and learn a little about either Translogistics and your services, or maybe a little bit about Vistage and what it's really meant to you without all any of the hype and what's kind of because this is a real world. What we're talking about is real world, and so
Happy to
in
help.
your
You can
experience,
call my cell at any time. Should I give my number right now? Is that easy?
sure, why not?
Six
Yeah, if that's
six
it.
one zero area code 299-0837, or you can email me at under their lowercase RONC at ship. That's a P at the end. PLI Tom Larry Izzy.com.
That's cool. That's cool. Ron, thank you so much, and take care, everybody. And thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome, Dave. Pleasure.